Hey guys, welcome to another episode of our student live interview series. Today I'm going to be interviewing Eli. I'm super excited. Here he is. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, there we go. Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. This is awesome. Yeah, excited to be here.
All right, so I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions. But first, do you want to give like your background, like what sport you play, where you're from, how you got into the sport you play, things like that?
Yeah, sure. I'm from Fishers, Indiana, which is about 20 minutes from downtown Indianapolis. So, I grew up soccer, the Carmel area, and basically I was good enough to reach the Division 1 level. I played Division 1 soccer at IUPUI for my freshman year, which was in 2018. And then I transferred to USI, University of Southern Indiana, which is in the GLVC Conference Division 2, really good program here down in Evansville, Indiana. And
Mm-hmm.
then I run my own podcast actually called
Oh,
Top Ends Podcast.
that's
So
super cool.
yeah, so basically that's a little shout out to that. I have interviewed 15 people. Nine of them are professional athletes, and I got over 3,000 plays in my first season. So I have had 15 episodes so far. So you guys should check that out if you guys are available to listen to some podcast.
Yeah, definitely leave that account in the chat, and everyone should go check that out. Um, but yeah, that's super exciting. I love making podcasts. I've taken a podcasting class before. It's so fun. So how did you know that you wanted to play in college?
Well, growing up, I was around some pretty good, thankfully, I was around some really good friends that had older brothers that played in college. And I was going to some of those games, and I just kind of fell in love with like the college atmosphere. And then growing up, I played in the developmental academy, which was a big eye opener for me. It got me close to some college coaches and
Mm-hmm.
around some college campuses. And I just knew, kind of when I got to high school, that I wanted to go to that next level and to try and play in college. And thankfully, it worked out.
Yeah. So what was your recruitment process like? Did you mainly look at Division 1 schools? Like, did you look at D2, D3 schools? Like, what was that process like for you?
My process was really interesting. I didn't have the greatest grades in high school. I was getting a lot of good looks around the Midwest from Division 1 and Division 2 schools, but um, I kind of wasn't aware of Division 2 and how good the players are. I was just really focused on Division 1 schools. So I committed my junior year, which was I think in 2015 to IUPUI, and then I rode that out and then ended up going there. But yeah, whoever's in here, like you don't have to play Division 1 to be a good athlete in any sort of way. You can play Division 2, Division 3, NAIA. I mean, it was a big eye opener for me, leaving IUPUI and trying to go to a different school and seeing that the Division 2 is really good talent everywhere. So it's a big eye opener for me, and I suggest everyone that's getting recruited to not just look at Division 1 schools. If you can, look elsewhere as well.
Yeah, that's super great advice. And honestly, like even some D3 schools, like I know two athletes who played at the college that I go to, which is not well known for its athletics at all. But now one of them plays on a professional basketball team in Israel, which is super cool. I know one other person who played on a professional team in Greece. So like there's some, even if you play for a D3 school, there's still some incredible opportunities to try to go pro, even not in the United States, which is
Yeah,
super
there's
cool.
Yeah, that chance of just getting in and playing. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was when I was at the Division 1 level, I wasn't playing, and I thought I should have been. It just didn't work out at the time, but I transferred, and now I'm playing, and I'm really happy. And I think if you're playing, you're the happiest you can be. So, I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that's what sports all about.
Yeah, and also like if you go like if you want to do perhaps something outside of sports after you graduate, going for maybe a D2 or D3 would help you balance that out a little bit more.
Yeah,
If you have
absolutely.
something particularly passionate about. So it's really good to know like what your intentions are as you're going through that process. So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what were you specifically looking for in a college, either athletically or academically?
I was just looking at a school that had my major was the biggest thing. So I'm studying sports management and business
Mhm.
administration. So I was looking at schools that had that. Sports management's kind of a newer thing in the business world in America today. So I was looking for that, and then I was looking for a school that I would play at that had a good conference, a good size of the school, good like facilities. That's really important for me. And then this is a bit ridiculous, but a team that was sponsored by Adidas. I'm like really big into Adidas, and I wanted to have like that kind of vibe and whatnot. But yeah, really just I'm a big homebody as well, so staying close at IUPUI, which is those of you that don't know is Indianapolis University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. So staying there at the start was really good for me. I was close to my parents, but eventually I decided to transfer out. So
Mhm. So what made you decide to go to IDPY initially, and then what made you decide to transfer?
um, going there, my dad actually played soccer there, so I was really familiar with the coaching staff, the campus, the facilities, especially the coaching staff that recruited me at the time. I knew them very well, and then I committed, and then I went there, and I thought I was loving it, and then me and the coaching staff didn't really meet eye to eye, to put it in a way.
Mhm.
Was hardly playing. I played in the preseason games, which was 4 games. Thought I was playing well, and then ended up not playing the rest of the season. And then
Yeah.
I kind of it was a shot in the dark. I didn't have a lot of game film. I didn't have a lot of my resume wasn't great for soccer, but my grades were really good at the time. So I put my name in the transfer portal, and thankfully, I found a way to the University of Southern Indiana where I'm at now, and it just worked out absolutely perfect. So.
Yeah, like I know that I know that not getting the playing time, especially like since you're going to school, like playing soccer is one of your biggest focuses, and not getting that time on the field can be super frustrating, especially like going through that entire recruiting process. And like it's a lot of work in high school, trying to get recruited, and going there not having that playing time is super frustrating. So going somewhere else where your athletic abilities are valued more and you're on the field and doing what you want to do is something super valuable. Um, but yeah, so what's your favorite thing about being a student athlete?
Um, Favorite thing, that's tough. I don't know. I think there's multiple things, but my biggest thing probably is just like my teammates and how close I am with them, and the relationships I've gotten, and even transferring the guys I was really close with at my old school. I'm still talking to them on a daily basis, and then the guys that I have here on this team, really close to most of them, and just kind of that like brotherhood that I've built with these guys. I think I'll carry on forever, and I can't really. It's hard for me to see me not playing in college, and then this just popping up. These friendships are just great.
Yeah, I know that like the bonds that athletes build with their teammates is unlike any other. And you guys are always there to like support each other, and it's just a really great environment to be around if everyone's super supportive. And yeah, it's like friendships that you'll take on even past college, probably well into your adulthood. So I know that that's super valuable. What's the most challenging part about being a student athlete?
Definitely the time management. Having to go to classes right now, everything's kind of on Zoom, so making sure you're headed into the Zoom classes, getting things done, maybe not being able to go on campus all the time due to traveling, due to away games, just like missing class, kind of keeping up on that. I think it takes up most of your day, whether you're hurt going to the training room, going in there to just get treatment, or even just like just being tired sometimes, just feeling like you don't want to do anything, but you just got to keep going. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and I know that I know that it can be super like tough, like trying to fit everything in. Like organizing your time is super important. Like I've talked to student athletes who told me that they do their homework on the bus ride to practice. Like you really have to work to find times where you can cram in all your homework if you have to. Like being super organized is key to getting all that stuff done. So how did COVID affect your season this year? Did you guys have a season? Like how did it affect it in general?
Yeah, so college soccer is played in the fall usually. We had nothing in the fall; it was all canceled, and actually moved to the spring. So right now we're prepping for our first game, which is coming up February 28th on a Sunday. We open up against our rivals, so we're all getting really focused and prepared for that. But yeah, right now it's just here in Southern Indiana and Indiana in the Midwest in general is freezing. So we're having practice at 6, 7 a.m. every morning, but thankfully this week we're not because of it's just too bad the weather. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're in full swing right now. And then we get COVID tested every other Tuesday. So yeah, pretty much just like really right now is just like staying in, staying safe, not doing anything besides going to practice, class, and the training room. That's pretty much all COVID has done to us and delayed. We haven't played a game and I think the stat is 16 months. So
Wow. Yeah. I know that like having everything pushed back really sucks. Like a lot of schools aren't even like postponing seasons, they're just straight up canceling them. So it's nice that you guys will at least get to have some playing time. And it is absolutely freezing out there. So like I understand like doing that like at 7 a.m. You guys must be like absolutely freezing. But yeah, I'm just glad that you guys will be able to have a season. Do you guys think you're gonna do well? Like how do you think the team's gonna do this year?
yeah, we're an exciting team. We're really young. We don't have a ton of seniors. We have a big junior class, but the rest of the team's young, very athletic. I'm just ready to get back playing. I said earlier, it's been months, almost a little over a year. So I mean, it's just like we're all really amped up and ready to get going again and playing. Our conference is pretty big. We have 14 teams in our conference, so thankfully we'll be having hopefully COVID, I mean, doesn't really let teams get some positive cases, but if not, we'll have 14 games, but and a conference tournament, so we're excited for that.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Um, do you have a goal for yourself this year as either a student or an athlete?
Yeah, my biggest goal I have is I want to make the dean's list again. I really have taken academics seriously, and I want to just be on the dean's list, have good grades, and then on the field, I just want to be a really good leader and just help the team out no matter what. I know it's going to be very frustrating. We haven't played in a while. The guys probably we're all a little bit frustrated how we're playing at the moment, but just keeping everyone level-headed. Yeah, those are my biggest goals.
But yeah, and also like going off of what you said about like everyone not playing for a while, keep in mind that everybody else is kind of in the same boat. Was it like your entire conference that canceled for the fall, or was it just like specifically your school?
What'd you say? You broke up a little bit.
Oh, was it like just your conference? Was it your whole conference that postponed the games, or was it just your school?
Yeah, it was the conference. So the
Yeah,
GLVC canceled everything. So yeah,
yeah. So with that, everyone's kind of in the same boat. So, like you all haven't played, like everybody hasn't played in a while. So hopefully, like you guys will all be kind of on the same level, but you will have a lot of time like practicing, preparing, and getting all that done. Um, so do you have any advice for students that want to play a sport in college, especially right now with the pandemic and like how many challenges that presents right now? Like, 'cause a lot of high schools aren't having sports right now.
yeah.
So people are getting their last chances to film and like add that to their highlight reel and all that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time. I haven't really thought of it in that aspect with COVID. I think the biggest thing for me, what I did coming out of high school to try and play in college is like really anyone that's looking to play, no matter what sport, just like kind of being annoying with the coaches that you want to go to and just like emailing them, trying to text them, call them like multiple times during the week to try and get their attention and like stand out because I mean, recruits are hundreds of thousands of people trying to do the same thing you're doing. I would just really hone in on if you have game film, send that, make a little highlight tape, but really just like emailing and then having good connections with your current coach, and him trying to vouch for you is really big as well. So I think those things are really big, but definitely like kind of annoy the coaches that you want to go play for just to get your name out there and maybe a face with that as well.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, that's one of the things that I've learned through the pandemic that's so important is maintaining relationships. Like you hear like all the time, like especially with athletics, like with everything is so like even with jobs too, like you have to maintain your connections. And doing that with coaches, like keeping them in the loop, like making sure that they know you're interested, what your intentions are. Like that's all extremely important, especially right now where you might not be able to do those in-person visits. You might not even be able to see the coach in person. So trying to keep up with that as much as you can virtually is extremely important. But yeah, let me see. Do we have any questions? No. But yeah, so I think that's all I had. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I'll type in my podcast here so people are in here can take a look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome that you guys do this. I think it's a good perspective for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I think it's super helpful, especially like again, students that are facing a lot more difficulties right now with the pandemic. Like it's really helpful to have all of these resources and just kind of see what it's like to be a student athlete and yeah, just kind of preparing yourself as much as possible for all of that. But yeah, make sure you check out Eli's podcast. But yeah, I had a really fun time interviewing you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Take care.